Hello, Governor. I'm Peter Parker. Going to England.
What?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Why?
Please take that out. Please.
No,
please,
because that was too weird to leave out.
Please never. No. Please.
For what purpose did you think that was a good idea? It's just, you know how we should start the podcast, whatever
It's
this
stream
is.
of consciousness. I forgot she even recorded. Or started recording. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're the Hello.
Hello.
So you know, we're gonna have a podcast today. We're gonna do Monty Python and the Holy Grail because I just got on Netflix and I love that movie.
Yeah,
and
I love the movie too.
Jake loves that movie.
Jake loves that movie. Yeah, he told us that he's seen it like tons of times.
Honestly, this was Jake's idea. That's wrong. It was my idea. But I would be more satisfying if it was Jake's idea.
It would be.
Because Jake, as you can see, is not here.
No,
because
he's not.
he is a terrible human being.
No, he's a lovely human being, but
He's
forgot.
a terrible person.
He's a great person, but
He's
he forgot.
Definitely going to hell.
He's probably going to heaven, but
Trick question. He's Jewish. He doesn't believe in heaven. Anyway, so we didn't feel like doing a full podcast with just us two. So we're just gonna break down the Far From Home trailer,
yeah,
Spiderman.
It's a half podcast. We might do a little retrospective on Homecoming.
Because I love Spider-Man,
And I do too. So,
but I love Spider-Man more than he does.
No,
Also, I just
that's
realized I
not
have
true.
glasses. It is true, but
it's not. Well,
we're just kind of winging it. All right, let's go. So it starts off, you know, he's getting congratulated for something.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Happy.
I want to say that that's like some sort of
Thank you.
fundraiser that maybe.
Yeah.
You know how in the comics, Aunt May has like the the Ben Parker Foundation or something like that, which I don't know when that starts because I know that happens kind of later on in the comics, and then Pete has like he starts like his company, and maybe that's part of it. I'm not entirely sure when that comes up, but I'm thinking that might be influence, and maybe Aunt May starts like some sort of foundation, and she's having Pete sort of help in by like jumping in as Spider-Man, giving it some credibility.
Also, later on, you see Ben Parker's initials on the suitcase he uses when he's going to London.
Oh, that's nice.
What was I going to say?
Did not notice that.
Oh yeah, this kind of reminded me of Spider-Man 3. That's not a great movie, but you know when like he's like has the parade for him and all that stuff. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of that.
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
What just uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about it? Because I've seen some people complaining about Happy and Aunt May having like a relationship,
I don't think that that's necessarily a relationship. I think it's just
or
fun.
like having like a romance, like a budding romance.
I don't even think that's what that is. It might even just be like Happy has a crush on Aunt May. All right.
Hold on a moment. No. Hold on a moment. That is definitely a budding romance. Did you not see that? Like,
Hold on. Let's go back.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Happy.
You look nice.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. New dress?
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
see that is like some obvious like budding romance.
Yes. Actually, I mean, yes, but I can also see it just being him trying to be flirty and her being oblivious. Like,
No, that is not.
Her responses are like very much. Her responses are very much. I love how the announcements have like better. I love how the announcements have like better comedic timing than we do.
Yeah, right. God.
Anyway, I was saying her responses are very much, I don't know, it's like what you're supposed to say, you know? Like, oh, you too. Or like, how'd you know?
But it's the kind of awkward, like, it's the way she says it. Like, she's like, thank you, you too. Like, it's very, like, but in a very,
okay,
like,
you can also see that as, like, her, like, doing other stuff, like, thank you, you too.
No, that's not the way, but that's not what's happening. Like,
No,
Hey,
but
sorry,
she's
I'm
doing
late.
stuff, see?
Happy.
no, she's not.
Wait,
She's looking. No, her.
New dress?
No, that is not. She's not doing something
She's
right there.
doing something.
No,
She's doing
her back
something.
is to. No, that is not.
She's
doing
so
something.
doing
That is
something.
not doing something.
Thank you. New dress?
Yes, it is.
No,
How'd
there
you
is a
know?
way she's saying it, and the way she's saying. Here's the thing: I'm way better at picking up these things than Pete is. Okay.
Hey,
objectively,
what?
I am better
Not
at picking
true.
up.
Not
I
true.
am.
Incorrect.
I am.
I'm bad at picking up things when it's like directed at me, but I'm Anyway, let's
No,
move on.
I'm telling you, 100%, there's a romance budding there.
Whatever. That's stupid. You're wrong.
What just happened?
It would be way less of a funny joke if he was like, "What just happened?" If that was not like
That's
a
fair.
romance
That's
thing.
fair. That's fair. Whatever. You're right. Shut up. I love the music choices. In
I
these
do.
trailers.
Love this.
Going to Europe. It's a school trip.
Did you get your passport?
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
Mini toothpaste?
I love that picture.
I just want to go.
There's also like contrast here with the last movie, which I think is good because like in the last movie his arc was kind of like he really wants to be, an Avenger. He really wants to like prove himself, but by the end he's like, I'm okay with like stepping back a bit.
Right.
And in this, that it's kind of continuing that like he's like, I kind of want to break from Spider-Man for a bit.
Right. Also, stop before you like continue on with that. I'm wondering how much like, and we don't know anything about Endgame right now, but like I wonder how much how Endgame plays out kind of affects his decision in this movie to sort of leave behind the Spider-Man persona. Like I'm wondering if maybe he sort of that might play a part in it because this is only a teaser trailer. We're not seeing his whole thought process when he does all of that. So I'm wondering if maybe that might be the case.
I love how the comms system is like still on.
Oh my God, it is.
Someone clearly just like accidentally didn't turn it off. God, this school's terrible. I mean, no, it's not. I love this school. T.C. Williams, it's the best.
There it is. I didn't even realize it was turned off. I was not paying attention.
On my trip with my friends. Europe doesn't really need a friendly neighborhood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, back to your point before I get distracted. Yeah, because this, it clearly the world seems like fine, or at least from what we can see, and where we left off in Infinity War, that was not the case at all.
Not at all.
So it's either they kind of like reset things, or people just magically fix things, or they're just like not highlighting the things that were destroyed by the event. I don't know. Maybe it even takes place in a different like time. Like maybe even takes place before.
I do not think it
I
takes
don't think it
place
does
before.
either.
I think that it's possible. It's sort of like in the comics, it's sort of rather than like just bringing people back, it kind of resets it.
Yeah, I was thinking
Except maybe the heroes remember. And then that's why when he sort of makes a sort of face when he looks at the Spider-Man costume a little bit.
Mhm.
And I wonder
Yeah.
if maybe that might be...
Because and we talked about this like in a previous podcast. Was that the cut one though?
That might be...
No, it's the because no, it wasn't cut. But because I'm good at speaking. The theory is that they're gonna solve the Infinity War thing through time travel, and like the set photos I showed you.
Yeah, right. We did talk about that. I remember that.
So that could be a way that they like reset things.
True.
Doesn't really need a friendly neighborhood, Spider-Man. You look really pretty.
And therefore, I have value.
No, that's not
I'm
right.
messing.
I love Tom Holland so much.
Yeah, right.
He's so perfectly awkward
Right? Yeah.
and just such a dork. He's such a goob.
He's
That's
great.
That's the best way
he
to describe
plays it
him.
well.
Yeah.
You look pretty too.
I just want to spend some time with MJ. And I think she really likes me, dude.
That reminds me when I first fell in love. I had just finished my film college.
I also love Ned.
Yeah, he's great.
So nice to finally meet you, Spider-Man.
God, that is like unnecessarily like ominous.
Right?
Like he's just being a
Like-
jerk.
That's how Nick Fury is, though. Like
That-
he'll
that's
like,
true.
like it was not necessary to like shoot Ned with a dart.
It's nice to meet you, Ahmed. Like no, no, that is not like needed. Just say the thing you want to say.
Yeah.
You don't need to scare the crap out of
Put
him.
some clothes on. Let's go for a ride.
Is he gonna be okay like that?
Might want to turn him over so he.
Here's a quick question, because I don't fully remember how the whole downfall from S.H.I.E.L.D. thing goes down. How do you think he knows who Nick Fury is? Because as far as we've known, he's never met Nick Fury specifically. Do you think, like... Because I don't remember... Because I know
Iron
that...
Man could have told him.
I remember that, like, when S.H.I.E.L.D. goes down, a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff gets exposed. Specifically in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, I remember that, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes, like, an international, like, terrorist stuff, and there's a lot going on with that.
We're really outing ourselves as like nerds.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But that's why I'm like, I'm not sure. I can't remember if like Nick Fury becomes like a public figure at that point, or if
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I bet it's like he like from his like context and like contacts in the like the superhero world, he kind of like knows of him.
I would
like,
say so too.
Through Iron Man, and also probably I think he'll probably meet him in Endgame.
Would he? Well, maybe.
Because I'm sure he's gonna be tied.
Well,
with
no,
because
the way he says that is like, you're Nick Fury, so that implies that like he's never met
or
Nick Fury.
I bet Nick Fury, because Captain Marvel's gonna be a part of Endgame. I'm sure Nick Fury's gonna come up in some capacity, not necessarily like in the movie, but like talked about. You know what I mean?
Maybe. One thing that kind of makes me also question the sort of public thing, and that's why I sort of brought this up, is later on in the trailer, we're kind of a couple seconds from there yet. He says Pete's like presumably is telling Ned that like Nick Fury just hijacked our thing, and then Ned's just like, oh, cool. And it sort of sounds like that, like he's not like, who's Nick Fury? He's like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely possible that Nick Fury kind of becomes like a public figure. And he is kind of like tied in with the like superhero mythos, you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Like but also it could just be that like Pete
tells him.
Yeah, just like tells him.
Yeah.
Big
and
shit
this is just a
person.
teaser trailer, so we're trying to
Might want to turn him over so he doesn't swallow his tongue.
I think Nick Fury just hijacked our summer vacation.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ned is just me.
Ned is basically everyone who's like in the movie theater. He's like, oh my god,
nice. Also, I love this suit. It's so cool. Also, it's so freaking cool. It's so cool.
It has
And here's the first look at one of the elementals.
I remember, and I don't know if it was you who said this, something about like this being Sandman or something like that.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, immediately went to, oh, that's Sandman, because, you know, it's a Spider-Man movie, and I saw a sand monster.
Yeah.
So I assumed Sandman.
I'd say that's more of an Earth monster, really.
It's a freaking sand monster. Okay. Shut up. But it's not Sandman, I don't think.
No.
It's like a more obscure Marvel character. Also, my dad pointed out, who's this blonde woman?
Oh, I didn't realize that's Nick Fury, and then that's a random blonde woman.
Yeah.
That might be Sharon Carter.
I was thinking Sharon Carter, too.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because I feel like she's a very underused character in these movies.
You got gifts, Parker, but you have a job to do. Are you going to step up or not?
So cool. And there's which this is like another elemental, like a fire one, which, you know, is more evidence that it's not Sandman and Hydro Man, because who the hell is the fire guy?
You're all alone. Your friends are in trouble.
Interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Who are those guys?
These people?
No, the people who were shooting guns.
Oh, true.
Which kind of lends... Yeah, which we could already assume that the elementals aren't like just working alone and existing, but I'm sort of makes me wonder where... Okay, so who could these people be?
There's a theory that Mysterio is like creating them, and they're not actually there. It's just kind of like special effects. And he's doing that so he can like defeat them, and then be like a superhero and get praise, which I think is a really good idea, especially because Mysterio's whole thing is that he's not actually like a magical person. He just like tricks people.
Right. I don't believe that theory, but I'll discuss why after.
He's super wrong. He's like so wrong. You're not. So wrong and so stupid, and you're a bad person. Wait, is it? It's another suit, which I don't know why that's necessary, but it's cool.
I mean, it's great. I love it.
Kind of reminiscent of Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it looks super cool. God, Spider-Man's so cool. There's another elemental, the water one.
What are you going to do about it?
And there's Mysterio.
You don't want any part of this.
I love this costume so much.
Hold on. And that line, you don't want any. Ugh, what did he say?
You don't want any part of this.
You don't want any part of this. He wants Spider-Man to stay out of it. He doesn't want Spider-Man's help.
How do you know that he's referring to Spider-Man?
He's clearly referring to Spider-Man.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I'm right. And I will make a bet, and it's on camera. It's going to be uploaded. I bet you $10 that this theory is right.
On camera right now,
Yep.
I am agreeing to this. He's wrong.
Nope. I'm 100% right.
Nope. Continuing.
Also, I just want to say I love the costume. It's
It's awesome.
it's so stupid and it's great. It's like so goofy.
It's the best.
I was worried that they weren't going to go goofy. They weren't going to go with the fishbowl. And I'm so glad that they went with the
They
fishbowl.
went with the fishbowl. Look at it.
Also, another thing is that you can see he kind of has like symbols. Like
Doctor Strange.
yeah, which someone could say is evidence that he's using actual magic. But I would say it's more likely, just knowing the character of Mysterio, that he just like saw Doctor Strange using those and just kind of like copied those to make it look more realistic.
I believe that. Like, I mean, obviously none of his powers are real. I believe that. I don't think that he's faking the elementals at all.
Then how would he be blocking it?
Well, it's not. It can still be technology that he's using, right? Like, it's not
I
out of the
guess.
realm, because we're talking about superheroes here, Pete. They can use like any kind of technology to like block it. It could be some sort of force field technology.
Yeah, but then, like, then what's the point of like the? Then what's the point of the showmanship? You know what I mean? Then he stops being like a guy who's pretending, and it just starts being a guy who actually can like has like powers and stuff. But like they're technically not powers. It's just like his like technology.
I mean, maybe
and stuff.
that's just the way he feels the need to be showmany about the way he does things. But it's not necessarily like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that like that there's no reason to it. It's just the way he is. He doesn't necessarily have to be making.
You're wrong.
elementals.
You're wrong. You're 100% wrong. Nope, you're wrong.
I love the music though, like the
Yeah.
orchestral sort of.
Who is that guy?
He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What, he looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and everything respect him. What up, dickwad?
Yeah. I love that interpretation of Flash. Just because it's like more accurate to like
yeah.
what like like bullies are today. You know.
Right. Yeah. Now that we've gone through the entire trailer, we can discuss how much you're so wrong.
No, I'm super right.
You were so wrong.
I'm so right. This is not going to be another 10 minutes of just us going back and forth between saying
Okay, let me
wrong
tell
and
you
right.
the reasons why I think you're wrong.
Okay.
The main reason I think you're wrong is because, and this is going to sound so stupid and cop-outy,
You're
but
right.
it's too obvious.
That's stupid and cop-outy.
Look, it's just there are a lot of obvious things that point you towards that conclusion. People, like, they're kind of basing off the idea that, like, fans in the comics will be sitting there going, like, oh, because Mysterio, he's the kind of guy who would do that kind of thing.
So you think that this is, like, kind of...
I think they're playing on the expectations of people.
I think that that's stupid.
I do not think that's... I think that they're playing on the expectations of people to make you think that that's what he's doing.
Nope, you're stupid and you're wrong and I'm right.
And I also think
Case
that would be
closed.
so boring.
No, it would not be boring. That'd be super cool and awesome.
It's
and
a
would make
story
me...
that's been done before. It's basically the concept of like having like this super awesome heroic character who seems super awesome and heroic to everybody else, but he's actually faking it. That's been done so many times before, and I don't know how they could do it in a way that makes it like actually like not just a rehash of what's been done before, right?
I mean, that's why you make him threatening. Like, you make him threatening in the way that like what we saw the guys with the guns. He's not actually like super powerful, but he's threatening in the way that he has influence and he can get people killed. You know.
No, but here's the thing that I know from like reading articles about it. I know that he is assigned to work with Spider-Man by Nick Fury, right? Like Nick Fury puts them together, tells them to work together to defeat these like elementals. So I know that this isn't like him. Like he doesn't pop out of nowhere and start saving people from these things. These are things that are apparently happening, and Nick Fury puts them together to deal with it because Spider-Man's there, and I guess Mysterio's there or something. I don't know the reasoning, but I know that, like, according to articles that I've read, I know that. Also, we don't need to wear these anymore. I know that that'll be the case. So that's why I'm sort of saying what I'm saying. I don't think that is.
See, I get that, and maybe like I feel like they're.
You struggling?
I'm just finding the words.
He can't figure out how to rebuttal me. I'm right. That's just a.
Okay. That's how you win arguments. This was another point that I made in my head. It wasn't the point I was constructing, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty much non-existent at this point. It's like, it's like pretty much collapsed since.
Is it?
It totally is.
Well, I haven't really been following Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't.
Yeah, I haven't either. Also, that's like gone into more like Inhuman-y type stuff than S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's weird. But my point is, it's not like the superpower that it once was. Of like agencies like covert, like knows every detail on everything. I can 100% see Mysterio tricking Nick Fury. I can 100% see that.
It's not that I believe you're wrong. It's that I do believe that as a story thing, it would be kind of. I don't find it very interesting.
But I think that point is not a good point because.
Well, that point is more like why I don't want it to be true than why I think it's not true.
But I want to go into that because I don't think that I don't think originality is like what these movies are really going for.
Even just originality or even like that. It's not very interesting prospect. Like ignoring sort of the originality of it, I think that it's just kind of I don't know what they could do with it. Actually, it's partially originality in that I don't think they can do that much new because like it's not even really like I don't even know how they could like put like forward like this aspect of like heroicism because like sort of like idolizing
Heroism?
your hero. I fucked up that word.
Heroicism?
Idolizing your heroes, right? Because like the hero that like Pete idolizes is Tony Stark, so that's not even.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to do that. It's going to be he's kind of stealing his thunder. Which I know is overplayed, but like,
okay, that I didn't really think about it that way. I was thinking about it in terms of like maybe he like idolizes Mysterio or something like that.
That's stupid. That's like my favorite word, by the way.
Yeah, no, it is. It is, isn't it?
No, but I don't think that they're gonna go that way.
Right. In the aspect of like stealing his thunder, I guess I'd believe it more if I believed that Pete wanted to be Spider-Man at that point, because he kind of purposely, like, at the point in which he's like, I don't want to even do this right now. Like, I think maybe they might turn it into the aspect of, like, I can see how maybe instead of stealing his thunder, it's more like he's sort of doing everything and he's like handling everything, and they don't really need Spider-Man to really be there, and then he sort of takes the back road and he like takes the easy street with it. And that's the lesson.
Actually, I think that would be good, and I think that they should do that, and that works thematically, and also I feel like that's more interesting.
Yeah, I definitely now that we've really talked about it, I'm coming around to this idea that maybe like Mysterio could do it. I still think that it's too obvious, like especially with the way that they deliberately put that line in there, like you don't want to get involved in this or whatever he says. Like, I think that like that line, I just feel like it's so purposely thrown in there to just throw off people. No. Like
I'm with you till that point. I'm okay with the possibility of me being wrong about this, but I don't think it's like they're trying to like throw fans off or anything like that. I think it's just that's the trailer they made, and you're honestly, like not supposed to take that much from it. It's just a teaser trailer, and it's supposed to be cool shots that make people want to watch the movie.
Maybe. I mean, I don't.
Maybe this trailer is just trying to get people to buy tickets. I don't know.
That sounds stupid.
That's just a theory.
a film theory.
I
You didn't
I
finish it.
didn't want to finish the joke.
You didn't
it
want
was
to
so stupid.
It is stupid. But
I was trying to think of a funnier thing to say than just film theory, like Ahmed theory, but that was dumb.
that was dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid. You're stupid, Pete. God. No. See, I call myself stupid too. It's not just other people and other things.
It's mostly other people and other things, though.
Well, it's mostly outwardly other people and other things. It's mostly internally myself. Anyway, let's not get into that.
It's okay, Pete. All right, then. You know what I think would be more interesting than him like having created the elementals is sort of going off the idea of like him sort of being kind of a fake, so to speak. Maybe like it's sort of throughout the movie he kind of plays up the idea of being an actually magical person, but like then
when the elementals come, he like fails.
Not even just like he fails, but like sort of later on in the movie, like it comes to a point in which not even just the elementals, but whoever's behind the elementals, because it's not just the elementals on their own, obviously. We know that much, right? It's not just the elementals just operating on their own. There's some sort of big thing going on, because otherwise it wouldn't be that interesting. So I think that maybe later on in the movie, he's like tech fails or something like that, and at that point he like falls hard. Like Mysterio just cannot handle the fact that like his tech isn't working and he doesn't know how to work around that, and then maybe like at that point it's sort of, instead of like him being like a sort of betrayer, it's more like he's kind of like a I can't hack it when the chips are down kind of situation.
Yeah, but I feel like I think that's the less interesting one.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's where we disagree.
Yeah. And like all the same. Yeah, I just find that a little less interesting. But yeah, whatever. That's opinion. Except mine is right, and he is stupid. Everything's stupid.
Yeah. What I'm kind of worried about is the concept of like them cutting back and forth between like this and then like cutting to like a B plot with like Aunt May and Happy.
That's not going to be a whole thing.
Here's
that's
the
not
thing:
gonna be a
is
whole
that
thing.
I feel like that might be a thing, and I'm worried about it. It's a legitimate concern.
It's not
don't
gonna
tell
be,
me that it's not a legitimate
it's
concern.
It's not going to be a thing. It's that's just going to be like a few throwaway jokes. It's not going to be a whole B plot. But even if it is, I'd be kind of down with that. 'Cause I love John Favreau.
I do love John Favreau, but I do think that would be a very annoying B plot.
It would be annoying.
But
and it's not going to happen. You're wrong.
Whatever. Anyway, I also kind of not just the trailer. I also kind of wanted to talk about Homecoming a little bit, and like because we never got the chance to talk about Homecoming.
Yeah,
on our,
which
we might review that.
That's
at
an
some
awesome
point,
movie.
But, like I really like that movie.
And I would say, before Spider-Verse, probably the best Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah.
So possibly best live-action Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Favorite live-action Spider-Man movie by far. No offense to the original Tobey Maguire. I love them too, except 3. But
yeah, and one's kind of.
One's
really just 2. Two
is the best one.
2 is really good.
It's really good. It goes basically Spider-Verse, Homecoming, Spider-Man 2, and everything else is a bit.
Yeah. Spider-Man 1, then the Andrew Garfield ones. You can. Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is arguably the worst one.
100%.
Yeah, even worse than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, which is like I know there are going to be people who are going to contest against us with that, but you're wrong.
Yeah,
it's a really bad movie.
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw that, I liked it, but I was like 12, and it was my birthday party, so I was already like hyped up. But yeah, then I rewatched it and I was like, this is terrible. I hate this.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Phantom Menace effect, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I got what you mean. But I definitely liked Homecoming a lot, and I watched a video, and I don't remember the name of the video because I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
But
you are a bad person.
It was a video.
You are going to hell.
You always
anyway,
I'll take these things too far, and it makes me upset, and I don't know how to deal with it. And okay, anyway, so
no, continue with that bit, please. I want to see where this was going.
Sometimes bits start off, and you think you have something, and then you don't.
Yeah,
you don't have something.
No, I don't know what you mean. I've never done a bit that I've regretted. I've never done a bit that's unfunny. Hello, Governor. I'm Peter Parker. Going to England.
What?
I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway.
What was I saying? Right, video that I watched. Anyway, I was watching a video that was kind of analyzing the sort of stories of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers throughout the entire Marvel series and the way that their sort of moralities and sort of personalities kind of change.
I hate myself. When you said Steve Rogers, I had like, is it dopamine? Like the happy chemical? I just had a dopamine rush. I was like, yes, Steve Rogers. I like him. He's cool. He throws his shield. Anyway, continue.
I don't know why that's making me laugh right now. It's just the way you're like...
I'm like a 5-year-old.
But
he's cool.
That was literally like the way like 10-year-olds would have been like just like, man, what, Steve Rogers? Yeah, I love him. He throws his shield and he's really cool. He's really jacked and that's awesome.
He is really jacked. And it's really awesome.
Pete has a weird thing about jacked people.
He's so muscular. I always think about when I think about how muscular he is, because that's more often than I'd like to admit. I always think about that scene in Winter Soldier when he's like grabbing the helicopter. That's so cool. Yeah. He's so cool. His muscles are so cool.
Yeah. Pete bothers me sometimes with muscles. I remember we were going to talk about Creed 2, and then we didn't. But I realized like slowly afterwards, like I would have been so uncomfortable because Pete probably would have been like a little too enamored with Michael B. Jordan's muscles.
He's so muscular.
He gets really muscular.
I'm not. Those scenes of him like training in the desert. Those are.
Look, here's the thing.
So nice.
Here's the thing. I am really gay as a person, but like Pete's a straight person, and he's more into muscular men than I am, and that
they're so muscular.
Confuses me a little bit. Like as a pansexual person, I feel like I should be taking that place on the podcast, but instead Pete just like throws himself in whenever there are muscular men about. Like, I don't know what to do about that.
Anyway, let's stop talking about this.
No, I want to make you uncomfortable. So, other muscular people that you just like to look at, Pete. Come on.
Well, Michael B. Jordan's a good one, especially in Black Panther when he had that. Oh, that was. I should do a whole podcast reviewing muscular men.
That's what we should have done instead.
Also, him and Creed. That's also so nice when he's like all sweaty and running in the desert.
Right.
That was. It's just so cool.
It is so.
It's so cool,
It's
and
good.
it's just like. Yes.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, obviously. Yeah, everything he does,
100%.
especially in like the first Thor movie, he's so jacked.
He's
really
so
jacked.
jacked.
He got slimmer because he had to lose weight for what is it? What's the movie? A Man on something on the sea. You know the movie? It's like the book that was Moby Dick was based on. It was like a.
Wait,
frick!
Moby Dick was based on a book? The Old Man in the Sea?
Maybe? No, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on, I'm going to look this up on IMDb because it was like a true story. It was like a vaguely true story.
Tom Holland is pretty muscular. He's like a lean sort of muscular, so I don't know if that's in Pete's wheelhouse. But
I less admire it and more like want to emulate that, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather be lean muscular than like The Rock jacked, but I can appreciate people who are that jacked.
The Rock jacked.
In the Heart of the Sea.
Oh, In the Heart of the Sea. I have no idea. Yeah, that's
but yeah, he had to lose a lot of weight for that. So by Ragnarok, he was not as jacked. He was still very jacked. And for a normal person, that is extremely jacked. But for Chris Hemsworth, it was not as jacked. But he was.
It's the only reason that it's not his favorite Thor movie.
Arguably more attractive though, because that lean. He had more of that lean vibe.
It adds more to the haircut that he got.
Yes,
because I think if he was as jacked as he was in like Thor 1 and 2, and then like had that haircut, I feel like it wouldn't have been as good.
No, you're right. That the long hair needs the extra jack, and the short hair needs the less jacked version.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who else is jacked?
I think it's important to talk about. I can't remember his name now. Chadwick Boseman got really jacked for Black Panther, and I'm here for it.
That was okay. He wasn't as toned as I would have liked.
Pete has very specific criteria.
No, he's definitely a nice looking guy, very attractive.
But he's not Michael B. Jordan.
But he's not Michael B. Jordan jacked. I would say if you took Chadwick Boseman's face and put it on Michael B. Jordan's body, that would be better. I feel like that would be top notch because I think Chadwick Boseman has a better face. So just swap, do a little combo man swap, and nice.
Pete's perfect man.
Anyway, we were talking about Spider-Man, right? Let's talk about Spider-Man. Actually, quick little thing, quick little aside of another jacked man, a Hugh Jackman. When he was Wolverine, something he would do to make him look more toned is he would drink like 3 gallons of water on a day, on like 3 days before the shoot, and then not drink anything like for those days in between, and then like he's like super jacked, or like it doesn't make him more muscular. It just like all of the water is out of his body, so he's like super toned, and you can see like every vein. That's why like Hugh Jackman is the veiniest muscular person. Have you ever noticed that? Like compare Hugh Jackman muscles, Hugh Jackman's muscles to Chris Hemsworth's, or Chris Evans, one of the Chris Evans's muscles. Like in Captain America: The First Avenger, he's very muscular, very fit, but it's not like as like super cut as Hugh Jackman's Wolverine,
right?
Especially in like particular scenes where he's shirtless and flying, which I think adds the jackedness of a character can even enhance stories like and like help to characterize people. Like Hugh Jackman's jackedness is very veiny, which emphasizes his personality of like being angry and more primal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, the adding of the his like hairiness also adds to that. Whereas you compare that again to Chris Evans, who's it's like very clean. He's clean shaven, and it's not. It's very like symmetrical and appealing. Whereas Hugh Jackman's is more like gruff and rough and not. It's not like what you would expect, like an ideal body. You know what I mean? Like obviously he's like super cut, super jacked, but it's not. There's like something a little bit like
primal, maybe.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I'm just amused.
There's a lot you can do with the type of jacked a character is, and you can analyze. I just came back from Mr. Zahn's, and I was analyzing a poem, so now I'm in a very analytical mood. And I just came up with that. I'm proud of myself for that.
That's good.
So next time you see a shirtless man or like a girl wearing a skimpy outfit, think about how that characterizes the character and works towards the theme of the narrative as a whole. Mm-hmm. It's deeper than just, it's hot. All right. Those are my 2 cents. Anyway, We're talking about Spider-Man.
What was it? Right. It was
this was such a long tangent.
It was a long tangent.
How did that went in like so many different ways.
So anyway,
that was a journey.
There was a video that was talking about Cap and Iron Man's morals and personalities and how they changed throughout the movies. And it was analyzing how Iron Man, he's sort of very self-centered throughout the movies, and that kind of changes. And as he goes throughout the movies, he realizes that he can't trust himself at all. And Cap sort of does the exact opposite in that he realizes that he's the only person that he can really trust. Mm-hmm. And throughout that, video sort of stops to have a little tangent on Spider-Man and how Spider-Man kind of takes both of those roads in a way. Like he kind of takes a combination of Iron Man's sort of guilt and Cap's sense of duty in the way that both of those things drive them. And Spider-Man, like in the line and how they sort of adjust the great power has great responsibility line is they say when when you have the power to do things I can, and bad things happen, they happen because of you. And it's sort of, the video makes a point that it's the sort of perfect combination of Captain America's sense of duty and Iron Man's sense of guilt, and sort of takes sort of the way that both those characters are flawed in their own ways is because they kind of hold on to both of their own things very tightly, and they can't really put it together.
And I think that's also emblematic of like Peter in the comics, because he idolizes like kind of like both of those characters in the comics, and especially in Civil War, in the comic Civil War, where he like starts out with Iron Man and then goes to Captain America, and he kind of like has both of those influences. Almost like, I don't know, like he's like a second generation superhero, and he like idolizes those like first generation heroes. So he takes like good aspects from both of them and applies it to his like own superhero-ness.
Yeah, and that comic, the one where Spider-Man sort of talks to Captain America, has probably one of my favorite Captain America quotes in it, and I don't have it memorized because I'm a bad comic book fan. But
yes, you're a bad comic book fan if you don't memorize every single quote that you love.
Exactly. But it says says something to the effect of like, when the press, the world, and something, and like people tell you to move, it's your job to stand like a tree and tell them, no, you move.
Yeah,
and
I love that quote too.
Yeah, I think that's probably
and that's what I think people get wrong about Captain America all the time. People like say like, oh, I don't like Captain America because he's all like America all the time, but like he's not, and he is like, he has problems with America, and he's not just like, you know, whatever America says is like what I believe in. He believes in the ideals that, you know, the country was based off of.
Right.
But he very much doesn't like a lot of the things that this country has like has become, and like what it's done and how it's distorted.
Right.
I used what it was
to have
based on.
A warped idea of Captain America and Iron Man. Like in my head, I thought it didn't really make sense to me that Iron Man was the one on Iron Man's side and Cap's the one on Cap's side. Because in my head, it was like, that's a switch. Iron Man's the rebel, and Captain America is the one who sticks and does his duty. And then I realized that it's sort of a difference in what drives them and the way they sort of react to.
It's a very logic versus morality type thing.
Yeah.
Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice? And like, and I love in the comic, you know, I like the ideas of the comic. I don't think it's very well written.
No, it's not the best.
It's because it was supposed to be like, this is kind of like a summary of what's happening, and you're supposed to get the individual issues to fill in the details. But I like the general like story and the arc of it. Like Iron Man, like there's no real bad guy. It starts out like, I feel like most people would side with Captain America, but then as it goes on, Captain America kind of becomes like crazy and obsessed with beating Iron Man, as opposed to, you know, like he stopped caring about like people's well-being and more just about proving that he was right.
Right.
Like when Goliath dies, he's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like we got to keep going. Like we got to like, and it's like, well, no, like, because people were like, well, maybe we should like stop. Like maybe it's like better to just stop so less people die. And he's like, no, like then they're right. And then that's why in the end, when he's about to like beat Iron Man, he's like, he realizes like how far he's gone. And he's like, all right, I give up. Like I'm wrong. I took this too far. Like take me in.
Sometimes I sort of wonder about that comic, because I felt like Iron Man became very unsympathetic in the way he used bad guys.
Oh yeah, exactly. Both of them, they get obsessed with like proving that there's wrong, and they both, you know, do bad things because it's in their head. It's like the ends justify the means, which, you know,
I think
they don't.
I haven't read the comic in a long time, so now I'm thinking I should reread it, because I feel like a lot of my perspective on the characters and who they are has changed since when I had read it. Because at the time of reading it, I thought it's so weird. They're both like I personally, as far as logic goes, I sided with Iron Man and his sort of idea of like being accountable to the government, and like, and I thought that made more sense. And then I saw like Iron Man was like enlisting villains to do his job, and then he got Goliath killed, and it was a whole bunch of mess. And I was like, well, I guess I side with Captain America, but not necessarily for the right reasons.
Yeah, and it does a great job of like no matter which side you choose, you kind of feel bad about it by the end because it's like.
I think it leaned too hard on making Iron Man the bad guy, especially with the killing of Goliath. I think it sort of I don't feel like I ever really felt like Cap did something like intensely wrong. Besides, maybe like he didn't give up when maybe it would have been a good idea to sort of stand down. But like,
no, I completely disagree. I think that it did in the beginning lean on Iron Man being kind of like a bad guy, and like doing bad stuff, but. By the end, and I think I watched like a video essay on this or something, but Captain America is like, and I don't think it's highlighted necessarily that well in the straight comic because it's more of a summary, but I think in like other issues, Captain America kind of like becomes like obsessed with like beating him and like stops like caring about, his like people and like civilians and. Like people will like bring things up to him and he'll dismiss them because they're not gonna like. I haven't read it in a while either.
Keeping in mind, I think I only read like the straight sort of Civil War comic itself, and I never read like much of the side stuff around it besides that Spider-Man issue that I was talking about before. With a quote in it. So I feel like maybe if I read all the stuff around it as well and I got the entire sort of context, because the thing about comic books is that when they do events like this, they don't just have the singular like comic book thread.
God, I hate that thing in comics. It's so annoying. Also, did you ever play the Ultimate Alliance games?
I did not.
Because the second one was really cool because it kind of like did the Civil War storyline and you could like pick a side and then like you can only play as certain characters depending on which side that they went on during the Civil War event. Then it kind of goes off, but it's a fun game. They're making a third one. I don't know how I feel about that because the style of like animation is different and it's like a different company who's doing it.
I feel like I remember that being announced, but I don't think I paid much attention to it.
That game was a big part of my childhood.
Maybe
especially the first one. The first one's better than the second one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about Spider-Man. We're going on a lot of tangents. Also,
it's whatever.
I love before this we were like, do you think we can get like 20 minutes out of this trailer? And like, yeah, maybe. I feel like we've been going for like 40 minutes.
Probably more like 30. But
okay, but we're definitely gonna probably hit 40 at some point.
Probably, but I do want to bring it back to because we started talking about Civil War. Then, so how do you feel about sort of Spider-Man being that kind of combination of the two? Which the thing that kind of makes me sort of go off from that is the fact that he hasn't spent that much time with Captain America besides that initial interaction with him during the fight.
But I feel like Cap is like a public figure, and
yeah.
I think it's maybe it's like not necessarily like their direct influence, but that's just kind of how like Peter naturally went, and he's.
I agree in that he sort of is already that way before he meets.
Yeah, and because if you think about it, he is kind of like a combination between Tony Stark and Captain America, like in that analogy of like logic versus like morality. He is kind of that like combination. He definitely thinks about things like in a very like logical way, but he never loses that humanity of it. He loses the humanity of it, and he very much is like puts everyone at the world before himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I feel like he hasn't just gotten as much time as I feel like. I feel like the way that the story wants him to be is the sort of this combination of like the best of both worlds, the one who is better than both of them. Even though we're only really seeing him being like the better Tony, so to speak. And I feel like in my head, I feel like maybe the Russos, when bringing Spider-Man to this conflict, I feel like on some level with just the way the line is written, I feel like maybe they wanted him to be like both of them, and the way that Homecoming went down.
I think the line was written because they didn't want to say with great power comes great responsibility, so they kind of found a workaround.
But like, I feel it's maybe I'm looking into way
feel like
it's said.
You're definitely looking into it too much.
I like the idea a lot. Is probably the main thing is that I like the idea more than it actually is, and I think that happens with a lot of things.
I would love to see more time spent with like Captain America and Spider-Man interacting, because that moment in Civil War where like Cap is like where you from? He's like Queens, and he's like Brooklyn, and then he like runs away. That was like probably my favorite moment in that movie, just because I love Captain America because he throws his shield and he's like all muscular and he's jumping around, and Spider-Man, he's all like, I'm Spider-Man. But you know what I mean? And it's like just two cool guys having a chat, having a cup of coffee. Let's make that movie. I would watch the crap out of that. Yeah, we're still censoring,
like
but
Spider-Man and Captain America just having like a cup of coffee. Like,
yes, an hour and 40 minutes of Spider-Man and Captain America having like just a chat at a coffee shop, and it can go in so many different ways. That can have, it can go and like be deep and like talk about like, morality and what it means to be a hero. But then, it can just be like some quips and, talking about growing up in New York and like the difference between, growing up in like, the 30s versus growing up, in like the present.
Right. Yeah. This is this is more in depth than I thought it was going to be. I asked the question and I thought you were going to make a joke out of it, but then you didn't. You just made it really serious, so now I'm confused.
Please make this movie. I would love to watch this movie. Well, it's a good movie.
You have one ticket sold, I guess. There you go.
God, this is when I go to VCU. This is the movie I'm gonna make. This is gonna be my senior year movie. What was the title? Spidey Cap Coffee. Spidey Cappuccino. Spidey Cappuccino. Yes.
That is God.
All right, I think that's probably all for now, right? We don't want to drag on too long.
Or Spider-Man Americano.
I like the way you think. Spider-Man
Americano.
Spider-Man Americano.
Spider-Man.
I feel like there needs to be more of a pun with Spider-Man, like.
Or Captain America can just have like a coffee, like a series where he just like has coffee with a bunch of superheroes, and it's just called Captain Americano.
Cappuccino Americano. Cappuccino Americano. I like that.
Yeah, God.
Captain America.
Do you
Spidey Cappuccino.
Movies and stuff. Eating them up. Just three dudes. Something. We have a podcast. Please listen to it. This podcast, another podcast.